that's in your head, or that's not happening, or whatever. I get very frustrated at times. And that was one of the reasons I started the Autoimmune Hour, was my frustration in getting medical professionals and the kind of care I knew I needed. And as a highly sensitive person, I knew certain things about me that were off of this, what I'll call the standard bell curve.
Oh, yeah, that is such an important point, Sharon, because I think most of us, when we have a health issue, we want someone to fix us. We want someone to say, here, take this or do this, and if this is what it is, take this and you'll be fine. And I certainly wanted that. But what I came to realize over the years is nobody could do that for me. I had to be the one to do that, because just like you said, I would go to someone. I had insomnia issues for many years, on and off. And I've been down the path of the sleep disorders and sleep studies and all those things. I've been to various doctors and practitioners, and they would all say, oh, yes, it's this, take this supplement, whatever it is, do this, and that'll fix it. Never, ever did. And what I came to realize for myself is that for me, it has a lot more to do with the gut than it does with stress or anxiety or overthinking or anything like that. And I've been told before, when I've said something like that to a doctor, oh, that's nonsense. There's nothing to that. And as soon as I hear those words now, I know, okay, you're not the doctor for me. If you can't have a discussion with me about what I know I'm feeling and what I am experiencing, and then we can explore that, then you are not the doctor for me. Because I've learned that we have to take responsibility for ourselves. Yes, go and seek advice, go and learn as much as you can, but nobody knows what is right for you apart from you. And you have to, if you have a practitioner, you have to work together to find what's best for you. And I didn't like that in the beginning. I thought other people would have the answers for me, and I came to realize they didn't. And I also learned, and this is another common experience for highly sensitive people, is if I do find someone and we're working together and I seem to be making progress, usually we get to a point where that doesn't work anymore. And so now I have to go on a different path and find something else, which can be very frustrating. But I've learned not to be frustrated with it anymore. I've learned to say, oh, okay, now it's time for me to explore something else. I understand the desire to just be fixed, but for highly sensitive people especially, no, I think you have to give that up and take responsibility for yourself. And it's actually very empowering ultimately when you do that.
It just always seems for me as well, there's always another layer. I reach another height of my recovery, and then, oh, here's another layer.
Yes. I thought I'd resolved that. Oh, here we are again.
Exactly. One of the things, I totally agree that so much of this begins in the gut. There are many therapies I've done over my recovery that focused on other items. And then when I started focusing on repairing the gut, it was early in my discovery. I think gut was just becoming talked about a decade or so ago. And when I started focusing on my gut, I was surprised at how fast I would notice shifts in me, and other things began to repair themselves. Maybe not be ideal. Definitely I could feel changes in my mood and my sleep patterns and all sorts of things that the original intent was maybe to stop a bellyache or something like that aligns. And I'm like, wow, I'm also noticing that my mood is better, or whatever it might be. And so definitely I agree with you, finding professionals that can help you focus on your gut and nutrition and food sensitivities and all of that was critical in doing this. But definitely don't take advice that doesn't feel right for you. I can't tell you how many times I've had people just tell me, like, in so many words, not in this exact words, but this is how it landed, like, is just shut up, stop being a problem and do it.
Yeah. I can remember when I first had sleep issues. I've been in the US for almost 30 years, moved here from England. So this started the year before I moved to the US. So we're talking like 30 years of this issue. Anyway, so I was having sleep problems and I have always been more focused on a natural approach rather than turning to medical doctors. Of course, there are times when you need medical doctors, but I was persuaded, I allowed myself to be persuaded to go and find a doctor. Now, I was new in the country, so I didn't know anybody, so somebody recommended someone. And I went to see this doctor, and I told him about the sleep problems, and I asked him, what do you think is causing this? What do you think the root cause of this is? And he said, I'm going to give you a prescription. Just go and take this and come back and see me in 2 weeks, and we'll see what's changed. So I said, what is the prescription for? And he said, no, just trust me. Just go and take this, for 2 weeks and then come back. So I left, and I didn't know what the medication was. And this was before looking up on Google. So I went and got a nurse's dictionary and I looked up what the medication was, and it was an antidepressant. So I called his office and I said, why do you think I'm depressed? I said, if I am depressed, which I'm not, I said, it's because I'm not sleeping. So if you can address the sleep issue, then I wouldn't be depressed. I said, but he said, I just told you to trust me. He said, you've been looking into things. I said, of course I'm looking into things. Anyway, I didn't stay with that doctor, and I didn't take the antidepressants because I knew that wasn't it. That whole approach of don't talk to me about it, just say, trust me and take this. No. And I'm glad I knew even back then, before I was more aware